welcome back to Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones mod. I am Paradoxos, and we are back with a new series, a custom series that involves a character named Mors Umber. Now, I want to start off by saying this episode is pretty much going to be informational, so we're going to label it 00 because we're going to go over the custom characters in this. We're not going to go over so much about how we're up to this point because I don't want to take up the whole video talking about that in this first one. I want everybody to see how their characters turned out, and I don't really think it's fair to the people who did put in the time to make these characters and, you know, the effort and waiting for me to actually get it done, and then they were there every step of the way, and I think they deserve to see their characters first and foremost before we get into the meat and potatoes of this series and why we're at where we're at. Now, everything's gonna be explained, but right now I really want to go over the people that are involved in the story in the beginning. This is going to be season 1. We're going to have multiple seasons. I don't know how many seasons, but we're at least going to have 2. We're going to, every week, what we're going to do is we're going to go over pretty much 2 paths. I'm going to go through the people in the Discord. We're going to pretty much look at paths that we want to take more in the story, and we're going to narrow it down to 2 and vote on those 2, and whichever one gets the most votes, that's the path we're going to take with Mors. I want everybody that has been a part of this, and even if you haven't put in a character, you don't want to put in the time to put a character in, that's fine by me. You can come on the Discord and just be part of the decision on where the story goes. If that's all you want to do, that's fine. Even if you want to come, I will tell when the vote is for what path we take the day before. If you want to just come on the Discord to vote and then leave the server, that's fine by me. Whatever you want to do. I want to try to get as many people involved as possible. This is not going to be, I came up kind of at the beginning of this, but this is going to be your story. The people that subscribe and watch this channel, it is going to be your story. You're going to say which way it goes. Of course, majority wins. Not everybody's going to get their way, but for the most part, everybody's going to have a say that wants a say. Now, we're going to start off with the main character. And I know some traits are going to be like, why has he got this? Why has he got that? We will get to that in time. Just don't even pay attention to that so much. Look at the character. Of course, you want to see the traits, and we'll go over that. But there will be reasons why they are what they are. Now, of course, we'll start off with the main character. His name is Mors Umber. As you can see, there's a last hearth down here, but it's not our last hearth. Right now, all we have is this lonely little set of rocks here on the Isle of Skagos, which is another little island that kind of connected to it, named Skane. In the game, this is a ruin, and I remember in the beginning they never even had this. There's a lot of different ruins now that you can actually colonize that weren't there from a couple years ago. Like, there's actually a West Watch here that's not connected to the wall, that anybody can colonize this as long as, I guess, you're neighbored to it or whatever. Yeah, either a neighbor within 2 sea provinces. So you can be a person beyond the wall or in the north and colonize this West Watch here. Now, it is de jure under the wall, and you'll probably get a Lord of the North that tries to restore it back to the Watch, but that's neither here nor there. So, as you can see, we're in Raymond Redbeard bookmark, but we'll get all to that later. So, we're Mors Umber. We are right now only 13. We are willful. We are giant, strong. We had green dreams. We are a green seer, but this is just the beginning of being a green seer, as we'll get into later why he has this trait. Shrewd, rowdy. He's a formidable fighter already. He actually has a pet bear, and he is proud. Now, the last hearth that's down here is ran by his uncle, who seized power by very ruthless, deceitful ways, killing Mors' dad and all his relatives, all his sisters and brothers. Now, he doesn't kill them with his own hand, and we'll get into that. A lot of people that read the timeline or the outline will see how they died, but it's really thought that the wildlings did it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes with Joseph Umber here that a lot of people in the north don't know yet, and it's just now going to start to come out when we actually start the gameplay, and I explain how he is the king of Last Hearth. and why he broke away from the North. But like I said, let's deal with the characters today. Alright, so these are going to be characters that people in the Discord have come up with, and I'm going to go off over them one at a time, because everybody put in a lot of work in their characters. They've been, mending them and changing them as time goes by, which is fine with me. I like it. It adds variety. I like people thinking of new creative things to do. So, first off, we're going to go over Alaric Bolton. Alaric. I can never say these names sometimes. Alright, so this was made up by a person in my Discord who's probably been in my Discord the longest of anybody, other than maybe like 2 other people, but they were there like the same time. I never know how, he always changes his name around, but in the Discord, I've had everybody change their names to the characters they are, so that way people know who the people are. If they come to the Discord, they can tell, oh, that's your character, and blah, blah, blah. And if they have interactions with each other in the game, they'll know who the people are that made those characters. And I think that's pretty important part of it, so everybody gets to know each other and all that jazz. But he is Alaric Bolton. He is a legitimized bastard of the Lord of Dreadfort right now, and he actually was in the Night's Watch and deserted. He has his own little backstory that is on the Discord. Some people put in backstories to their characters. Not everybody did. It wasn't a thing that needed to be done, but he does, and it's actually pretty neat if you want to look at it. But yeah, pretty much he's a Night's Watch deserter, ends up in the band of people with Moors. He is a elusive shadow, legitimized bastard, deserter, formidable fighter, master schemer, envious, deceitful, brave, cruel. Now, because he is, and he's also beyond the wall old gods, which also Moors is too, and we'll get into why he is that. It'll all play itself out. If you're going to be confused after this, you won't be after we get that whole part out there. But back to Alaric. He also has, because he's part of the Boltons, we do have the more bloodline submod on. So there'll be people with bloodlines that you normally wouldn't see in vanilla game. So he has the bloodlines of the Boltons that are up to this point. So he has the blood of Royce Redarm and the blood of Balthazar Bolton. This is like such a Bolton name. It sounds like somebody from House Slytherin and Harry Potter, but it fits. But they have a lot of negatives to their bloodlines because they're very intriguey type, like deceitful. And Alaric, I'm gonna have to take so much time saying this person's name. Alaric is also the spy master of Moors, and they're really good friends. So he's gonna play a big part in Moors' life, probably for a long time. And these people are all gonna end up, getting married, having their own kids, and we're gonna see down the line how their families, go as the episodes go by, the seasons go by, and I really can't wait to see how it ends and how many people are in their families, if they got land themselves. And he actually comes because of the bloodlines and being the son of the Lord of Dreadfort. He has claims to the Dreadfort and High Lordship of Dreadfort. So these can possibly be pressed later on, and more than likely will play a part in the story. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. But then we'll go to Cadence, if I'm saying this right, Stormriver, who was made by Brady was here, but of course he probably will have his name changed to this, so I guess those names don't really matter. So yeah, he's another person who's in the Discord. His guy is a Stormlander, follows the old god's faith. He has a yellow lightning bolt on a blue field. His good diplomacy, so of course he's going to be made the master of laws for our little lordship over here. He's a charismatic negotiator, bastard, giant, attractive, groomed, trained fighter, hedonist, and lustful. So he's gonna probably be a ladies' man. He'll probably have a bunch of lovers and bastard children to throw around. We maybe see where our titles end up being. Maybe one day he can be legitimized and take a little bit of that bastard stain off. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's the second character. Now, our next one is going to be Tyler Bloodfish. Now, he's an old gods follower, Northman. He has a blood red fish on a black field. He is a skilled commander, inspiring leader, skilled fighter. He is a knight, which is pretty odd when it comes to Northman old god believers. But there are some that do take the knighthood. So he's one of them. He is strong, lustful, proud, and brave. He is going to probably be one of our top commanders. He's pretty young right now, but still he's still a formidable commander. He is also the captain of our household guard, and probably will be for the time being, at least as long as we have a household guard. Then now let's go to our next person, where this guy is actually a descendant of the Greyiron house, which there's not any left. He is the last one alive. So, like I said, he's a drowned god follower, Greyiron, Ironborn, really good marshal. He is a brilliant commander, aggressive leader, also organizer. It's one of my favorite commander traits, because you can move a hell of a lot faster after people. Strong, giant, wildling sympathizer, trained fighter, duelist, and wrath. And now, being a Greyiron, he also comes with the Greyiron bloodlines, which has the blood of the Grey King, who is considered to be one of the first kings of the Iron Islands, who slayed the sea dragon Naga. Right here. That's where if you read the books, you hear about Naga's bones on I think it's Great Wick, if I'm not mistaken, in the Iron Islands. So he's the guy that killed him. So he's pretty much the first Iron King of the Iron Islands. But besides that, we'll go back to Randor here. He also has the blood of Ironfoot, the blood of the Red Hand. Now, this has a couple negatives, but it's really not that bad. He also has his own Valyrian steel sword called Salt Spite. It's got the green of the beard from his sigil, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, he has his own Valyrian steel sword. Then he also comes with the claims that Greyrons would have traditionally, which would be the Lordship of Orkmont, the High Lordship of Orkmont, and he also gets a strong claim to the Kingdom of the Iron Islands. So there's a lot of potential for this character down the road, and it would be good to have an ally of a different religion, different culture, you know, for Morse to have later on in life. So that's going to be really interesting to me to see what we can do with him. Now we have, I'm going to butcher a lot of these names, Yoden, Whitesteel. He is a Northman of Old God religion. He has it's supposed to be a snow crystal, but with the sigils on Game of Thrones, they don't, not that I know, I don't know a lot about like modding stuff, especially when it comes to the sigils, but what they let you do with the customizer thing is not as vast as it is with the vanilla one, so there's not a lot of good things to pick from on there. But this is the closest thing I could think of, is like a snowflake. So let's say it's a white snow crystal on a light blue field. He is a very good administrator character, which makes him he's our Castellan for Skane. So he is a skilled steward, trained fighter, shrewd. He's also an administrator, which gives you movement speed too, which is really good for commanding. Architect, which gives us a lot of build cost modifiers, which will be helpful with trying to build up our little island over there. We're not going to stay there for a long time, but it would be good to build it up while we can. He is temperate, greedy, and just. Very high learning too, so that would be really good too. So he's going to be a very good addition to the council. That woman's just a regular person. This is our priest, because nobody really wanted to be a priest, and this guy, it was just somebody I pulled off the court tier thing for priest, and he's just somebody, he's not anybody created, but he also is a green seer, which is a reason why he's Moore's his priest, and he's going to be his tutor, because he's going to help teach him in the ways of green sight. But we'll get into that guy later. I want to get to the people that actually made people. So here's another character named Stefan Lymans. He has a sigil with a black bull on a yellow field. He is former Southern, like the Manderleys. Manderleys are pretty much, I think, the only ones that have this culture. He is a Faith of the Seven believer, and he is a skilled commander, skilled fighter, knight, honest, wroth, just, and brave. And he has really good martial, and he's pretty decent diplomacy too. So he's not just a martial-driven person. If we need to, we can use it for diplomacy matters. But on to the next person. We have Majorek, Caden. I hope I'm saying all these right. He's one of my more interesting ones that I've seen made because he kind of fits with Moors a little. He has a sigil with a unicorn, and you'll see why here. He has a unicorn on a green field. He's an old gods believer, but he is a Skagosi cultured person. He's also one of Moors' friends. He is the regent for Moors until he comes of age in the cupbearer. As I said before, he's Skagosi. He also has intrigue of 33. He's very, very good at intrigue, so he's going to help Moors not be poisoned or assassinated by his deceitful uncle down here in Last Hearth. He also is very, very high learning. His traits, he is an elusive shadow, also a green seer. Like I said, he's going to be in part with the priest, the tutors of Moors, and getting his abilities, to a heightened level, and him to be able to perform his abilities with control instead of just coming out at anonymous times. He is also a bastard. He is trained fighter. He has a shadow cat, and he is diligent, erudite, deceitful, cruel, and zealous. Now he's old gods. We're beyond the old gods, but we'll get to the point of why they're going to be different, and his could change later down the road too. Everything's going to make sense when the story starts. This guy, his name is Regna Ironsmith. He has a sigil with a black anvil on a blue field. He is a drowned god believer, ironborn cultured character. He is martial of 21, intrigue of 14. So he's got two good things here he could be used for. Brilliant commander, skilled fighter. He is sympathy for Westerosi gods. You really can, outside of wildlings, do like any other sympathy for culture. You could kind of group all the Westerosi gods into one, which I wish they had each culture. Unless they do, and I just can't find it. I don't know. He's also scarred with greedy, patient, and one-eyed. So he's missing an eye, but he has the cool, what Euron should have had in the show eye patch. But we're not going to get into that. Now, there's a guy here, his name is Jacob Kane, but he kind of goes with this other person. They were made by the same person. Here is a first female character we have made named Jenna Coldstream. She has a sigil with a red field with blue waves in the background. She's an old gods follower with a Northman culture. She has 20 diplomacy. She's decent martial and learning. She is a Grey Eminence, trained fighter, attractive, proud, brave, diligent, honest woman. And she is married to Jacob Kane, who has a light blue field with a black raven in the background. He's an old gods follower, a riverman culture, very good diplomacy. So he's going to be another person working pretty much, dueled with Cadence here. They're very, the two of them are pretty much neck and neck with diplomacy. He's also pretty good martial, so he can be used in various positions. He is charismatic negotiator, skilled fighter, attractive, knight, honorable, kind, and brave. Now, like I said, these were made by the same two people, so I want to say thank you to that person. Now that everybody changed their names, I'm like, I might as well not even say the names of who they were before, because it's not going to matter. Now, this is our youngest person made. His name is Hardgrave. He has a sigil of a white background with a ram with blue horns, which I thought was a pretty cool sigil. He is a Faith of the Seven believer. He is a Veilman culture. He is only 14, so he still is learning his martial focus. So hopefully he turns out to be a really good commander. Him and Moors are pretty much the same age, so I could see them two becoming good friends down the line. He has already got a 16 martial, so he's probably more than likely going to have over a 20 martial. He's really good stewardship too on top of that. He's a skilled fighter, strong. He is a squire right now. Who we're going to put him under will probably be the one guy who's, where is he at? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Lymans. Yeah, we're probably going to put him under Lymans as his squire because he's a knight. It only makes sense to put him under a knight. There's not going to be that many with us anyways. So on top of that, he has ambitious, brave, and just. And we'll figure out who we're going to have him tutored by. So the youngest person made is him. Then we have Lysander Forbes, who has a blue field with a yellow stag. He is the Faith of the Seven believer. He is a Stormlander cultured character. He has 23 martial, 10 intrigue, and 12 learning, and a 9 diplomacy. He's pretty well rounded. He's a brilliant commander, formidable fighter, strong, brave, lustful, and ruthless. He is also another character that was made by the same person he's married to, near a sky with a blue field and a white castle. She is a Faith of the Seven believer, Stormland culture. She is another one that's really good in diplomacy. She's still 15, so she hasn't gotten her diplomacy focused trait yet. Hopefully it turns out good because she could probably be our highest diplomacy person we have. She is a very tall giant woman. She is attractive, trained fighter, gregarious, diligent, family person, and brave. So, like I said, these two characters are made by the same person. I want to thank you for submitting those. Next, we have Raymond Whitesteel. He's another one of the characters I really that stood out to me. It has a sigil of a purple field with 3 white swords. He is the old god believer, Northman cultured person. He has a martial of 28, diplomacy 14, stewardship 10, intrigue 9, learning 12. Very well-rounded, probably fit anywhere. And this, even though he has a martial focus, he was made our steward just because he has a decent stewardship too. We really didn't have. He's probably, I think, the highest behind our Castellan when it comes to stewardship. So that's why we've put him in the treasurer position here. And I think he'll be good at it. Brilliant commander. He's a flanker, formidable fighter, strong, attractive, duelist, brave, ambitious. And he also has his own set of armor called steel plate. It's actually Valyrian steel armor. So let's not just call it regular armor because it's a lot better than that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too. I like the way the armor is done on these the more bloodline sub mod. I think that's pretty cool looking. I like the all black like that. I don't like a lot of like snazzy colors when it comes to the armor and the swords and all that. So next person would be Rickard Stark. He is a descendant of House Stark through the line of Rodwell Stark. He is a old gods believer, Northman cultured character. He is, and we're going to a lot of people that are martial driven right now, but of course most people, if they're gonna pick something, I know my first pick would be martial. Most people's first pick is martial, so it's not anything, you know, that people wouldn't expect anyways. But there are varieties of other people, so I don't want everybody to think, oh, everybody just picked martial. But it's okay. It fits the thing anyways, being Northman. They're more of a martial culture to begin with. And most of the people are either old gods or Northmen that have this kind of, rundown of traits. Now, he's 10 diplomacy, 25 martial, and has 11 learning. So he's another guy that can be used in different positions. He's a skilled commander, siege leader, formidable fighter, strong administrator, architect. So we have another one of these with like the Castellan. So he can also be used for administrative things too. And as a commander, he will have a good amount of movement speed. And you never know down the line he could get organizer, and that would give him an overall 30% movement speed. You'd be able to run down anybody. He's a hunter, honest, and brave. And he also gets the bloodlines of the Starks up to this point. He has the blood of Bran the Builder, blood of Bran the Breaker. We have blood of Bill the Bard, blood of Cregan Stark, and the traditional Stark bloodline. And with that comes the claims on Winterfell, High Lordship of Winterfell, and the Kingdom of the North. And that would be pretty interesting what can happen with these, because just him having these claims, somebody in the North can just say, you know, we want to put Lord Rickard's claim up and put him as the Lord Paramount of the North. Anything's possible when you have these claims. It doesn't have to be controlled by me or the other people. It could be the AI's doing. So that'll be fun to see what happens with some of these people that have claims. Treasury wise, he has a Valyrian steel sword called Wolf's Claw. It's pretty neat. I like the way this one looks. It's like it kind of was the one that to me resembled like a claw by the way the pommel is. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, he has his own Valyrian steel sword, which is pretty neat. Let's see, let's get to the next person. We have another descendant of Stark, but this is Edrick C. Stark. Like I said, another descendant of the Starks. I don't know why his claims didn't pop on here, but we'll go over that in a second. I can always add him later. He is a Old Gods believer, Northman cultured character. Martial 25, Intrigue 12, Learning 10. So another person that can be used multiple places other than commander. He is a skilled commander, aggressive leader, formidable fighter, attractive, strong, diligent, ambitious, and lustful. Now, you can see some of these people aren't made, you know, given the friend role like some of the other ones are. Like if you look at Moore's, he does have a decent amount of friends. Now, the ones that have traits that are more on the side of being ambitious are ruthless. I didn't want to have a friendship with Moore's because of the fact I want this to be role played. And if your guy has ambitious traits, there's a lot of times they're going to take decisions that would go against, you know, or go over a friendship out of gaining power. And I think that'll add a little bit more, you know, to the story that way. I don't want everybody just to get along. This isn't 1969 at Woodstock smoking peace pipes. Like, this is the North, okay? So this kind of thing happens no matter how close people are. He has a purple field with a white direwolf on it. He also has the bloodlines of the Starks that we just went over with the last Stark character. He also has a Valyrian steel sword named Starfire that has it says a reforged by Edrick C. Stark. This is a two-handed Valyrian steel greatsword with blue gems in the hilt and pommel that animate a icy chill. So I think that goes good with a descendant of the Starks. And I will go in and probably just add them myself, the claims that he should get with these bloodlines. So this will be another person with claims on Stark lands. So that'll be another interesting one. I just noticed that. I didn't know these moved when you scrolled the whole time I played this game. Are you kidding me? Wow. I guess you learn something new every day. So yeah, that's their last character. We'll go to the next one. Where is the next guy? Oh, we went over Nera, went over Jenna. Alaric, we already done. Now this is Alison Stark. She is not made by anybody in the Discord, but she is the sister of the Lord Paramount of the North. She was betrothed to Moors when they were very young, because the Lord Paramount of Winterfell were good friends with Harmon the Drunken Giant, and when Moors was sent there to be his ward, Lord Paramount Willem was overjoyed by this kid and how, you know, studious he was, on top of being very martially driven, and he thought that their houses should be bonded together through marriage. And his dad at the time was ailing, so it was Lord Paramount Willem was, you know, pretty much taking over after his older brother died young. The dad was still alive but was ailing, so pretty much Willem was doing everything when it comes to the administration of the realm. So he thought it would be good to betroth these two together. Now, when Mors has come back, and we'll go over this the next episode, when Mors came out and everybody knew he was alive, she found out about him being alive and made her way to where Mors was to be with him, because even as young kids, they were really in love with each other. And hopefully this will be a marriage that brings forth a lot of little umbers. She is, really basic stats, but she's 11 diplomacy, 10 martial, 8 stewardship, 12 intrigue. Not the smartest person in the world, but she is quick with charismatic negotiator, trusting, authoritative, and brave. So this will be Mors's wife here as soon as he turns age to marry. Now, I know we didn't do any gameplay in this episode, but this was just to go over the characters of the people. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's characters. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't miss anybody. But yeah, I want to again thank all the people who put forth characters, and I'm so excited to see where a lot of these characters go, especially the ones with claims, because like I said, the AI can, the people in the Iron Islands can say, hey, we have a Greyiron alive in the world, we need to put forth his claim and bring back the Iron Islands to the Greyrons. Anything's possible. And I don't, even though I want to roleplay this to the story that we're going to have, a lot of the characters are going to end up getting their own land. They're going to be part of maybe Mors's, high lordship, kingdom, whatever comes down the line for Mors. Some will stick with Mors and have a family under his house and, help out that house for the rest of the time Mors is around. Some might break off and go make their own little way in the world, but we will make sure we follow every single one of these characters. Now, if you want to submit a character for the second season, that is perfectly fine to do. And if something with a character stands out to me to fit the story, I will add them in this season. If something really stands out to me. As of right now, the characters are spoken for. Everything is going to be the way it is. Real quick, we'll go over the council again. Pretty much just skimmed over it with the people. But we have Whitesteel is our Castellan with the 28 stewardship. We have Cadence Stormriver as Justiciar. We have Prince. Well, he's considered Prince because he is of the Greyiron house. But it's whatever. He's Randar Greyiron. But he's going to be our Master at Arms. He probably will be our guardian to teach us, to become a brilliant commander. We have certain abilities because of our religion. That's why you see the rating thing there. Raymond Whitesteel will be our treasurer, as I said before. Alaric Bolton, who's another close friend of Mors. He also has claims, so we can see maybe him take over his father's lands or take it from his half-brother. We don't have a maester yet because we need to get one. And then we have our priest, Royce Wolf. Now, we are a old... Beyond the wall old gods believer. So we have a kind of a hybrid. We're a Northman culture, but we have this religion. And the reason we have this religion, because I'm going to put this out here now. This is the one thing I'm going to put out before we really get into what everything is. Mors, one of his end goals is to unite the beyond the wall walling old gods and the Northmen old gods into one. He wants to get rid of this wall. He believes, the wall served its purpose for the White Walkers. And we do have the White Walkers on. I have it set to where they will happen within the next 50 years. So Mors is going to have a lot of things to do in that time. He is also part of the Skin Changers society, along with Majorek, who is his regent. I don't know why they put him as an elder right off the bat. I don't understand why, but I guess because he has green seer. But he has green seer too, and they made him just a pack brother. But he's in there with our priest and Brendan Bloodraven, of course, and Lady Danelle Lawston. And there's also Leaf, which we'll get into that character, and Branch in the next one, because these two will play a big role in the story. So I just want to get this one out there to show all the people that put in their characters and the people out there that are going to watch in the future what characters we can look forward to in this journey and this story of Morris Umber and his band of merry men. So with that, I hope everybody watches this series and plays along and votes on what path we go. So until next time, tomorrow I will be putting out the first episode. This is going to be 0. First episode, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what's going on in the world. So until then, hit thumbs up, subscribe, come to the Discord, be a part of the story, and I will see you in the next one. Later.